The Keeper of the Scroll of Light, the Call in the Dream Inn. A remote village nestled in the Armenian mountains, a young shepherd named Aram lived a quiet life. One silent night, he had a dream so vivid it left him speechless. He saw a figure of radiant light holding a scroll that shone like the sun. The figure spoke, "Aram, son of the Most High, arise and seek the scroll of light, for it contains truth for this time." When Aram awoke, he could not ignore what he had seen. Though he did not fully understand its meaning, he felt an irresistible calling. He remembered old stories told by the village elders about a sacred scroll hidden in the ruins of a monastery in the nearby mountains. The journey through the mountains, at dawn, without hesitation, Aram set out. He traversed deep valleys and treacherous trails, braving fierce winds and biting cold. Along the way, he encountered an elderly man who seemed to be waiting for him. The man wore a simple cloak and carried a staff engraved with ancient symbols. "Are you seeking the scroll, young one?" the old man asked. Startled, Aram affirmed. The elder smiled and said, "The journey will be arduous, but the Lord will guide you. Remember, the scroll's light will only shine for the pure of heart." Then the man vanished into the mist, leaving Aram more determined than ever. The encounter at the ruins. After days of travel, Aram reached the monastery ruins. The site was forgotten by time, its walls covered in moss and stones scattered across the ground. At the center of the monastery stood a dust-covered altar. Aram knelt and prayed for guidance. As he prayed, a ray of light broke through the clouds, illuminating the altar. He noticed a small opening in the stone, and upon investigation, found an ancient scroll wrapped in golden fabric. When he touched the scroll, energy surged through him, and he heard the same voice from his dream. "Take this scroll to the world, for it holds the wisdom of the heavens." The test of faith. As Aram descended the mountain, he was confronted by a group of armed men. They were artifact hunters who had heard rumors about the scroll. They demanded that Aram hand over what he had found. Though afraid, Aram clutched the scroll tightly and declared, "This scroll is not mine. It belongs to the Most High." As the men advanced, an intense light emanated from the scroll, blinding them. They fled in panic, leaving Aram unharmed. He realized the scroll was protected by a divine force. The revelation at the temple. Aram traveled to the nearest city, where he knew an ancient temple was still in use. The priests welcomed him, intrigued by the scroll. When they unrolled it, they saw words written in an ancient language, but miraculously everyone present could understand them. The scroll proclaimed, "I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life." John 8:12. It also contained instructions on living in unity, love, and obedience to the Creator. As they read, a supernatural peace filled the temple, and many present reported feeling their lives transformed at that moment. The divine mission, with the support of the priests, Aram began traveling to villages and cities, carrying the scroll and sharing its message. He witnessed miracles everywhere. The sick were healed, families were restored, and countless people turned their faith back to God. The scroll became a symbol of hope in times of darkness. Aram, now known as the Keeper of the Light, dedicated his life to spreading the divine message contained in the scroll, helping people find peace and purpose. The legacy of the scroll. Years later, Aram returned to his village, where he spent his final days in peace. The scroll was placed in a sacred location, accessible only to those who sought truth with sincere hearts. His story was passed down through generations, reminding all that God's light never fades and that fragments of divine glory are within reach for those who seek them.